What's up YouTube, and I'm here with my first video, and today I got
Tyler.
And today we reacted to 10 animals that can live after death. Which one do you think gonna stand out?
All tastes made it.
I got hair. Wait, no?
What an animal gotta do with him?
Cause they got animals like happy.
Number 10.
Come on, let's go.
Cockroaches.
Cockroaches. I don't even remember when them cockroaches crawled into your mama. They was all in her bathroom.
It shouldn't come as a surprise that these tiny little bugs would make this list. Cockroaches are infamous for their tenacity, and are often cited as the most likely survivors of a nuclear war. Some even claim they can live without their heads.
He said hands on head.
Cockroach
Who
died.
took his head? What if I get a knife and like
What if I cut my head off?
you gonna be dead, son?
I'm not an animal.
No.
Well,
I ain't even
surprise,
coming, bro.
surprise. They can live without their heads. In
don't
fact,
say
they can go
head,
on living
not
for 2
head.
weeks.
Why
To
is his head
understand how
off?
these bugs can survive decapitation, first we
That
must
ain't no
understand how
cockroaches.
we
No,
fragile
what is
humans
that, small?
couldn't.
Like, he just gave birth to
First
that.
of all, humans bleed, and when a man's head comes off, he bleeds a lot. Cockroaches don't have that problem, though.
Cockroaches don't bleed.
And they got hair on their body.
What does hell gotta do with blood, my nigga?
I thought when you got hair, you supposed to be a human. I learned that in school, like whatever
Just
got.
smack you on the back
No,
of your shut
They have an open.
No, the teacher said whatever got hair on it, that's human.
What's your teacher wear black? Gotta be cool. Shut
Circulatory
up,
system,
man.
which translates to little to no blood pressure. So if their head pops off, the wound just closes naturally due to clotting. And secondly, and probably obviously, human heads kind of hold a very important part of our body, our brain. And without it, humans will not function. Eating, drinking, and breathing are all impossible without the head. But cockroaches on the
So what if I get somebody else's brain? Will I be
Nigga
smart?
asking the stupidest questions.
Cause they talk about brains. I thought like you could get a.
So what, you want a
Like,
cockroach
no.
brain?
What if somebody slice your head open and put you a new brain? Put you back together. That'd be good, right?
On the other hand, don't need their heads to breathe, as they do this process through little holes located on their bodies, called spiracles. Although a headless cockroach will die of starvation eventually, it's gonna take them weeks for them to do so. Number 9. Bees.
I hate them things. I got stuck on my pinky finger and my grandma put like
You know my
cigarette
lips
stuff
will
on my...
be.
Thing got that big old bump on your nose.
This might sound like a cop-out to you. No, bees die and they stay dead. However, there is a reason why they appear on this list.
He just said bees can't, animals that can't live after death, but he just said why they can't come back.
Because even though a bee might be dead, it can still sting you. Not in the way that you think, of course. Dead bees obviously can't go flying around and actively sting you. It's that their stinging parts and more importantly the venom delivery system will still work even if the bee is long dead. When a bee stings, the sting detaches from its body, leaving it embedded into the skin of its victim. Attached to the sting is a tiny organ that both contains the bee venom and a tiny muscle that pumps the venom.
Is that a diamond?
Man, wait. It's like a diamond.
Gotta go find
What's a bat?
Come out.
that. That thing was
That thing got so
Due to
much
the
hair
simple
on it.
physiology of bees, these actions are not controlled by the bee's simple brain, but rather by involuntary impulses.
Oh, that's nice.
So if you think that you're safe picking up a dead bee, think again. Number 8. Chickens. There is truth to the expression running around like a headless chicken, after all. Yeah, ask any farmer and they'll tell you, chickens can still run around with their heads cut off. And
I
there's a
seen that
very
before.
Ooh, what a like.
I'm trying to cut my head off.
And chicken just running.
I was gonna make that noise if his head cut off. You just make the stupid
simple reason for this, and it's not because chickens are zombies.
Ugh.
No, the reason is, believe it or not, human error. This error happens to be a butcher's error, to be more specific. You see, a chicken's central nervous system is very different from us humans. Some basic bodily functions are controlled not by the brain itself, but by certain parts of the...
I thought their brains was like the little.
What they brain at?
Like I thought it was this.
That's a beak.
That's not no beak.
I mean, yes it is. The beak right here.
That's this.
Oh,
This. That just says they brain.
I don't know.
They got one brain.
You know how
Two
when they
brains.
walk, their head go in their body, they like...
You know how many brains they got? One.
Man, we don't care, man.
the brain stem.
They won't.
So, what does this all mean? Well, the butcher chopped the chicken's head to high. Most of the time, it's just the forebrain of the chicken that comes off with its head, leaving the brainstem and the cerebellum quite intact. In fact, if the butcher also misses the jugular, not only will the chicken continue to move, it sometimes can still breathe.
So y'all, we had some malfunctions, but we back. So we talking about the chicken.
You talking about the chickens, bro?
But look, son, the chicken got 1 brain, 2 brains.
Why you keep taking that brain? That's not a brain. Not a brain. Alright.
As it eventually starves
That's where the eggs come
Before I
from.
knock your brain.
to death. But there is one special case that a chicken survived 18 whole months without its head.
You ever been to a chicken fight?
You was pausing the video so much. I don't.
Number 7. The octopus.
I seen a Chinese lady eat an octopus and the thing was on her face. I told that girl don't eat that, son. I was on her lot talking about don't eat it, don't eat it. She gonna still eat the octopus. That's why I don't like them people.
I'm pretty sure that you've seen videos online where an octopus, after being chopped up, continues to move. In fact, in certain
Papa and Mama Jones made us some octopus.
Was it black?
Yup.
I think I ate that, boy. That's so good. I'm sorry, son.
It was a gumbo too.
I ate 3 slices of
I
it, boy.
seen it and it was just
I was just.
certain Asian countries, eating fresh octopus is a deadly delicacy.
Oh.
It's not really the octopus that survives after being chopped up,
But
but rather
it got no head.
So that's why don't people be eating a live octopus.
They be putting a little sauce in it.
Yeah, they be putting all that on their own.
You ever went to like the little Chinese place where they cook it front end?
Yeah.
How about they be putting all that Chinese sauce on my food?
Man, that be soy sauce. You
8
ain't-
wily arms that continue to move about. And it's these 8 arms that usually get stuck in someone's throat, resulting into a
They say if you eat it, you got like when you eat octopus, you gotta swallow it fast or the thing out.
True.
very bad day. The reason why octopus's arms maintain mobility even after being chopped off is quite fascinating. It's because their central nervous system is quite unique. You see, most of an octopus's nerve cells, 2 out of 3 of them in fact, can be found not in the brain where you would expect them to be, but rather in its tentacles. And these arms can continue reacting to stimuli even if they are no longer connected to the main
Oh
brain.
my god.
In fact, they remain responsive even after the
So if an octopus just stuck to you, what would happen?
Like you got really. Ain't gonna start.
Your skin gonna pull off if an octopus is stuck to you. Like that?
Ah.
Exactly.
octopus has been long dead and the arm severed. Researchers in St. George University in London conducted extensive experiments on this phenomenon. After the animals were euthanized, their arms were removed and kept in chilled seawater for up to an hour until they were ready for experimentation.
Oh no. Ooh,
Some arms
ooh.
were suspended vertically, and others were laid out horizontally.
Yes, you can. Mama Jones cooked it.
They then pinched them. The suspended arms recoiled from the unpleasant stimulus by shortening and curling in a corkscrew shape within 1 second. Horizontal arms also moved away from the undesirable stimuli, many bending in a sort of contrived joint toward the top. These movements can happen up for a week after the octopus is
I
dead.
bet they put that little sauce on it. Wow.
Number
You
6.
must like that.
Salamanders.
Salamander.
If you're gonna
So,
come up with a
what
list of animals
do we
that
kill
stubbornly
right now?
continue to live even after apparent death, you'll be hard-pressed not to include the salamander. This animal has always been synonymous to long life and immortality. It's even revered by people who believe in magic, believing that the amazing regenerative powers of this animal can be considered paranormal. Salamanders have the uncanny ability to
Have that for a pet, you might lose that. It's so tiny.
In my pocket.
Put it in your pocket.
What is you talking about, dude? It breathes off pockets.
Eat off water.
Like you know the little lint that be in your pocket. In your pocket.
Oh, so the God, you one dumb.
regenerate any part of its body that has been chopped
You called me dumb. You know I was in that special ed class in 4th grade. You know I ain't learned nothing.
off. More amazingly,
That's
these
the
regrown
leg,
parts
lad.
actually function the same as, or in some cases, even better than the original parts. This is mainly because of a special protein found in salamanders, which facilitates the replication of cells. This protein can also be found in humans, but in smaller quantities, and they help us heal from our wounds.
So whatever in a salamander go in my body, and I could turn into one of them. I know.
So does this
I
mean
know
that we
he
can
has
soon
some
regenerate
powers.
severed limbs? Well, we're not quite there yet. But scientists are continuing to study salamanders and how their unique ability can benefit humans in the future. Number 5. Frogs. It has been discovered that frogs continue to move around even when they're brain dead, or to put it more accurately, with its brain missing. This experiment was brought about when scientists discovered reports of various headless animals continuing to move about. That's very impressive on its own, but let's face it.
Is that Pooh?
That like the back of his tail right there.
There's only so much any creature without a head can do.
Imagine having that for
So
a
what
pet.
happens if you leave the frog's head intact, but take out its brain, you ask? Well, thanks to the let's chop out its brain and see what the hell happens approach to science taken by 19th century neurologist David Ferrier, we can tell you. A headed but brainless frog actually behaves very similarly to a frog with its gray matter perfectly intact. If you turn it upside down, it will right itself. If you pinch its feet, it will hop away. If you put
How can you ride yourself?
How can the frog, turn the frog around? The frog start riding.
in water, it will swim to the side and climb out. And perhaps most disturbing of all, it'll even croak contentedly
Oh,
if
I
you
see a
stroke
frog
its
right
back.
now.
The factor that results in frogs
Taking that frog by his neck.
Frogs doing push-ups.
zombie-like tendencies is the power of the reflex reaction, which fires the necessary electrical impulses that cause a muscle to expand or contract.
Don't poke it in the eye.
Number
I'm tripping.
4. Flies.
Oh, I hate them things.
You
I
probably
just gonna say the mosquitoes.
When I be eating crawfish, them flies come out of nowhere. But I watch TikTok, they say you put a penny in the water and put it on.
So you telling me if I put some water on myself and put the flies not gonna bite me?
Don't bite you.
Yes, they do, fool.
When? Who said
How you
flies
think
bite?
they eat? Crazy, son.
I've
You
only seen
dumb,
David
son.
Blaine resurrect dead flies just by touching them.
flies.
And no, this is not because the
I heard flies could see everywhere. 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 What if a fly could see from there and I'm behind it? Like, so one time I had that little fly right there. I tried to slap it, right? How about the fly was gone?
magician really has supernatural powers. Flies can survive freezing temperatures and go into some kind of suspended animation. What you really see David doing is thawing the frozen fly using his own body heat. When the insect fully thaws, the fly then flies away. But this amazing ability to survive freezing temperatures is not why the humble fly makes it to this list. Female flies will live for
Telling me that the lie?
Wait.
Why y'all don't like the male,
Where?
son? So y'all saying that if a human die, but the female can stay alive, why y'all want us to stay? I want you to be females. What it is? We too lazy?
What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
That was that dude talking in my head, son. I don't
several
like him.
days after they have been decapitated. Such beheaded females assume an upright stance comparable to that of a normal fly, and can do and engage in complex actions such as preening, flying, and under duress, walking. Even more amazingly, males will court decapitated females. That's right, chop off a female fly's head and not much changes, really. If anything, it serves to make the fly's behavior more human-like. The
Alright,
male
we
still
back,
wants to have
y'all.
sex
We
with
had
her
some
while
more-
she in turn treats
Malfunctions. You know, talent. Always gotta go use the bathroom.
He gonna blame it on
her
me,
sexual
man.
adventures as
What you
noxious
doing?
foreign stimuli.
That dude head going.
Number 3. Turtles.
Turtles. Y'all know we got some turtles in the lake. How about this? So mama threw the fishing pole. Turtle did. Turtle ran with it. It was like ran off on the blood twice. He took my mom fishing pole. Her pole broke in half.
The hearts of fish, reptiles, birds, and mammals alike have their own pacemaker cells that take over when the signals from the brainstem are not coming through for some reason,
Oh, that
which
was-
ensures that the heart still functions for a
Oh, I-
while, even when the brain does not. Now the turtle takes the term for a
I heard
while to a
turtles
whole
go
new
fast.
level.
They go
And this is
fast
because
for
from their heart's viewpoint,
He beat him snapping turtles. No.
Exactly. We don't care about
being
your
cut
cousin
off
right
from the
now.
oxygen and nutrients usually supplied by the blood is just a normal day at the office. Because these animals can die for a long time. How long?
That's what your toy be eating. That's what
You
your
always
toy be
speaking on
eating.
that man's name, but won't say it to his
Yes,
face.
he do.
Long? They'll try 5,000 hours in the case of the loggerhead musk turtle. Yeah, you heard that right. That was a 5 followed by 3 zeros, and they survived that long by what oxygen they can take up from the water via their skin, throat, and butt end, as well as their body's amazing potential for producing energy without oxygen. Their hearts have their own fuel stash, and they just won't give up until every last fill-up of that has been used up. Now it's time for the day's best pick.
Alright, let's pick. What is
Today
it?
we're going to focus on an animal's sofa roach. It can still kill you with its
What I
head
can
chopped
still
off.
bite you, son?
Perfect for Halloween, honestly. Number 2. Snakes. People's reaction when faced with a highly venomous snake can be boiled down into 3 categories. Running away,
So look, son. Pull that mug out. That mug was so hungry, son. Put it down on the pool table. That mug tried to bite me, son. I was like, what?
Should have bit you, son. Like, for
No,
real.
son. You no.
freezing on the spot, and oh god, kill.
That boy got blessed up in there, mouth.
Hey, that's how that Blue Bayou slide look.
What if we stick a toothbrush down his throat?
Yeah, nigga, cause he hungry.
Let's chop its head off. While indeed chopping the thing's head off may seem the most feasible way to avoid getting bitten, the truth is that that may not be the case. A snake's head, a vessel for its fangs and deadly...
Hey, for all the people out there that got a snake, give it away. Give it away now, son. Cause when that snake, like, when you get mad at the snake and the snake bites you, you gotta chop it off.
I'm gonna put that nigga head up. I'm gonna cut his
bite
body
you.
into 20 pieces.
Poison sacs still have the ability to bite you and deliver deadly venom, even if it's no longer attached to the rest of its body. The snake has heat-sensitive pits at either side of its face, which it uses to detect threats. And let's face it, if you're close enough for your body heat to be detected, you're close enough to be considered a threat.
Die.
These heat-sensitive pits are capable of detecting a threatening presence for hours after death, which means the snake may continue to defend itself.
When they die, they still got hours to live.
Tell me if I get a pet snake, chop his head off right now. Right now. That boy gonna stay alive for some more hours. You know what I'm doing? Bring by the head.
Zombie
I
style.
don't need, man. You always want
And yes, this even
Throw it to
applies
somebody
the
else.
body is no longer attached.
Talon, what you think number 1 is? Think. Cause you know what? When I was in special ed class.
Dog.
Oh. So you're telling me Zoe could stay alive?
Alligator. It might be that son personally. No.
When I was in 4th grade class, guess what my teacher told me? Special ed class.
I'm shaking too much because I want to see what it is.
Alright, let's go.
Subscribe within the next 5 seconds. You'll get 10 years.
Let's go. Get that. We don't want to hear.
Flatworm.
Man, what is that?
Them worms do be alive, son. Cause Mama had a worm, son. She like cut it out with some scissors.
Nigga, you
That
was
mother
moving too
doing it.
fast for me.
That mother didn't die.
I played the video
Are you
last
familiar
day.
with the old wives' tale about how
Oh,
earthworms
that is big.
reproduce? It states that if you cut an earthworm in half,
To see when you cut the worm and like you hook it, like the worm don't die, like it just keep moving, like the body get like not slimy.
I'm thinking like it start growing.
earthworms will form from the severed halves.
The mug could
Of
get
course,
fat
this has
and
since been proven to be completely
They all
hokum.
split it out.
However,
Yo,
some
be lying in
It
the
look like
like that.
a whale.
Oh well,
Look at it. It look like a little baby whale.
you know how big a baby whale is? A baby whale about this big. Right here, look.
That's the size of it.
Boy, that thing about this big. A baby whale.
You can
about
say,
this big.
Debbie.
No,
Alright, let's play the video.
they can rebuild any part of their bodies after amputation.
snails.
If one is cut in half, the head portion grows a tail and the tail portion grows a head. Cut it into 20
Oh.
pieces.
You saying when you fish?
I just said that it's gonna grow, right?
No, when you fish and you cut the thing off, they got a head and another tail.
And 20 new worms, each an exact copy of the first, are created. This has been exploited by Nottingham University scientists who have created a colony.
That ain't no worm. That's a germ. That wrong. That ain't no worm. That's a germ. That ain't no worm. That's a germ. That ain't no worm. That's a germ. That ain't
That's
no.
why you got a perm.
Of more than 20,000 worms. And guess what? They're all from one original, whose bodies and organs do not appear to age. They are confident a single worm would...
You know what? Shut up. I'm gonna do your outro.
Yeah, like, comment, subscribe, and make sure y'all tune into the next video on Game.